It's the 1970s. You're in a dimly lit movie theater. The air is buzzing with anticipation. On the big screen, James Bond, suave as ever, meets his match. Not just any Bond girl. This is Barbara Bach, a name that would echo in Bond history. But here's the twist. Despite her undeniable charm and on-screen presence in The Spy Who Loved Me, she's the best Bond girl nobody talks about. Why is she overshadowed, you wonder? She stood toe-to-toe with 007, a femme fatale with beauty and brains, captivating audiences worldwide. Yet, when conversations stir about the iconic Bond girls, her name often slips through the cracks. So, what's the story behind Barbara Bach's enigmatic Bond girl? How did she make such a profound impact and yet remain a whispered legend in the Bond saga? Taking on the role of Major Anya Amasova was Barbara's attempt to step into uncharted waters. Not only did she speak English for the first time in a movie, she also was not the first choice for the role. However, Barbara found a way to embody the role perfectly and become an international star in the process. From her interesting career choices to her unique love story, here is all you need to know about Barbara Bach. Back to the beginning. Before she became the Bond girl that people now love and adore, Barbara came from humble beginnings in Queens, New York. Just like many other actors and actresses who are now famous, Barbara had a pretty normal childhood. Her father, who was Jewish, was a policeman, and her mother was from Irish descent. Just like every other child, she spent her early years focusing on her education, and it was only after she graduated from Dominican Commercial High School in the mid-1960s that her life truly began. Soon after, Barbara discovered that she had the looks of a model, and if she pursued modeling professionally, she could make it big in the industry. She was only 19 years old at the time, but she certainly had the features of a model. From her mysterious aura to her beautiful eyes and luscious hair, she knew she had what it took to make it big in the industry. That realization and the work she put into honing her craft was enough to get her first gig. She also found a way to work with the prestigious Eileen Ford agency, and this enabled her to get even more modeling opportunities. Shortly after, she was appearing in catalogs and fashion magazines, and I'm not just talking about local magazines, but international fashion magazines such as Vogue USA, 17, and Elle France. Many of the photographers who captured her praised her for her professionalism and her love for modeling. Clearly, she was giving it all she had, and her success was proof of it. But little did she know that she would soon meet someone that would change the trajectory of herself and make her desire things she never thought she would. A match made in heaven. Barbara's modeling career was booming. It seemed like her life was going exactly how she wanted it to until she met Augusto Gregorini. There is no denying that Barbara Bach's life took a sharp turn when she crossed paths with her first husband, Augusto Gregorini. Their love story was like a movie scene set in New York City, 1966. Barbara, a rising star in the modeling scene, caught the eye of the charming Italian who was in town for some business tourism. Love struck fast and fierce between the two, and before she could even say ciao, Barbara packed her bags and jetted off to Italy to be with Augusto. She loved him deeply and was convinced that the next chapter of her life should be spent by his side. So she adjusted her plans and she let her heart lead her. Their love was said to be beautiful as the two seemed to never get enough of each other. Soon enough, the whirlwind romance culminated in a wedding in 1968, sealing their fate as a couple. Together, they embarked on the journey of marriage. While Barbara was Italy, she started nursing a desire to pursue an acting career, and just like the go-getter she has always been, she didn't waste any time. In that same year, she was able to land her first role as Nausicaa in L'Odissea. This marked the beginning of her career, and shortly after, she was able to work with some renowned producers and directors. Her career continued in the 1970s as she found a way to juggle life as a wife and an actress. She had fallen in love with acting, so she was willing to do anything in her power to keep her acting career afloat. She later appeared in Black Belly of the Tarantula and several other Italian films before motherhood came knocking. Soon enough, Barbara got pregnant for her first child, Francesca Gregorini. Shortly after, their second child was born, Johnny Gregorini, but his birth came with a complication that shook the entire family. It was said that when Barbara was giving birth to Gianni, his umbilical cord was wrapped around his neck, making it difficult for him to breathe. This complication would later lead to challenging health situations for the young boy, but with the help of surgery, his condition greatly improved years later. Sadly, as life often unfolds, the couple faced a crossroad in 1975. It was clear that their marriage was not working anymore, and they both decided that it was best to go their separate ways. It's not clear what caused their separation, but Barbara decided to pursue an acting career afterwards. Barbara made the move to Los Angeles, California, signaling a separation from Augusto Gregorini. Despite the geographical distance, the two managed to navigate the challenges of co-parenting, officially parting ways in 1978 while still maintaining joint custody of their cherished children. Her first English role was a hit. In the late 1970s, Barbara decided that it was time to start taking on English roles, so she started auditioning. Shortly after, she was able to land a major role as Anya Amasova in the James Bond film The Spy Who Loved Me. But what a lot of her fans didn't know was that she got the roles 4 days before the shooting began. Considering how perfect she was for the role, one would think she was chosen for the role earlier. It seems like she was more than ready for some 07 action because her stint in James Bond's world was nothing short of iconic. The Spy Who Loved Me was not like any other Bond film. There was something different about it. Perhaps Barbara's role was what made it so outstanding. In the film, it's 1977, disco fever is in the air, and Roger Moore is suavely rocking the tux as James Bond in The Spy Who Loved Me. Then comes our Bond girl extraordinaire, Barbara Bach. Barbara took on the role of Major Anya Amasova, a Soviet intelligence officer with the codename XXX. Yeah, they didn't mess around with cool aliases back then. Anya is no damsel in distress. She's a force to be reckoned with. Picture this femme fatale rocking a killer uniform, blending brains with beauty. Now the plot thickens. Bond and Anya find themselves in a high-stakes game of espionage, hunting down a nefarious villain who's threatening to plunge the world into chaos. Classic Bond, right? But what makes The Spy Who Loved Me stand out is the dynamic between Bond and Anya. It's not your typical lovey-dovey Bond affair. There's tension, there's wit, and there's an undeniable chemistry that keeps you on the edge of your seat. And let's not forget that underwater car scene, a Bond classic. Bond's Lotus Esprit turns into a freakin' submarine. Guess who's riding shotgun? That's right, Barbara Bach, looking cooler than ever. It's the stuff of cinematic legend. Barbara brought a mix of sophistication and badassery to the role, elevating the Bond girl game to new heights. She held her own against the legendary Roger Moore, making Major Anya Amasova an unforgettable part of the Bond legacy. When the film was released, fans could not get enough for the actress. They were utterly amazed by her acting skills. It was said that her role as Major Anya Amasova became the role that put her on the map. She instantly became a household name and was able to get several other English-speaking roles afterwards. It's interesting how her first English role turned out to be her most famous role and made her an international star. A co-star turned husband. In 1981, Barbara was chosen to appear in a comedy film called Caveman. But this wasn't just another role, it was the role that led her to her husband, Ringo Starr. They fell in love on the set of the film and got into a relationship. A year later, they got married, and their love is still waxing stronger till date. Barbara still took on several roles after Caveman, but she experienced some career hits along the way. After over 20 film appearances, she decided to retire in 1986. Her and her husband are still some of the most respected couples in the UK, and Barbara is still basking in the legacy she left behind in Hollywood. Although she is not acting anymore, she is still remembered as one of the most iconic Bond girls. Barbara sure has something in common with Sybil Shepherd. They both fell in love with men on set, but for Sybil, the man she fell for was someone's husband. She was the Scream Queen, the beautiful ghoul who kept horror fans at the edge of their seats for decades. This gorgeous and voluptuous lady knew just how to keep her fans coming back for more, and as a result of this, she made a name for herself as one of the most celebrated actresses in British horror cinema. But beyond the accomplishments and behind the scenes was a woman the world barely knew. From her dislike for watching horror films to her horrific real-life experiences, Ingrid Pitt's story will leave you wondering if you really knew her. Surviving the Nazis. Ingrid spent the most part of her life bringing horror stories to life, but what a lot of people don't know is that this actress was most likely good at depicting horror because she went through horrific experiences as a child. In a 2006 interview, she told with the New Zealand Herald this, "I think it's very amazing that I do horror films when I had this awful childhood, but maybe that's why I'm good at it." It all started on the 21st of November 1937 in Poland, where Ingrid was born in the midst of chaos. Over the years, there have been speculations that her real name was Ingushka Petrov, a name she later changed for personal reasons. Her father, who was German, and her mother, who was a Polish Jew, were both set to raise their children when life took an unexpected and horrific turn. A few years after Ingrid was born, tragedy struck. The Nazis picked up her family, and before she knew what was happening, Ingrid was separated from her father and her older sister. She had no idea where her father and sister were taken to, but was taken to the Stutthof concentration camp with her mother, where she came face to face with a real-life horror experience. Ingrid was just 5 years old at the time. One can only how traumatic this experience was. She saw little girls being maltreated and sexually assaulted. Ingrid also witnessed the death of her own mother's best friend. All these horrific things were happening right in front of her, but all she could do was to hope and pray that fate had a better plan and that sometime in the near future all these would come to an end. Sadly, the torture didn't end as soon as she hoped. Her and her mother were held there for the next 3 years with no hopes of returning to their normal lives. However, it was in the midst of this dark reality that she began to dream of a better life. She would often lay in the straw, imagining what her life would look like if she was someone else. There was something inside of her that made her believe that she was going to experience life through a different lens. Perhaps a life that was not marked by the confines and terrors of a concentration camp. From dream to reality. After 3 long and hard years, Ingrid and her mother left the camp after the war and began searching for her father and sister. Unfortunately, their hopes of reuniting the family dashed when her father was found. He had become a shadow of himself, and he passed away shortly after. During that period, Ingrid started nursing dreams of becoming an actress, and she decided to pursue this passion fiercely. She was said to have gotten involved in theater productions before she started her screen career. She became a well-known actress on the East Berlin stage, and the time she spent performing in theater enabled her to hone her skills before she started appearing in films. She spent the most part of the mid-1960s appearing in Spanish films. However, her roles were mostly uncredited. Interestingly, Ingrid could not speak Spanish at the time, but still found a way to immerse herself in the industry with the hopes of going international one day. Thankfully, her efforts paid off and things started looking up for her when she landed a supporting role in the 1968 film Where Eagles Dare. In this film, she portrayed the role of Agent Heidi, and she appeared alongside Richard Burton and Clint Eastwood. This was the role that led to her being noticed by the executives of Hammer Film Productions. They knew that her Eastern European and glamorous looks combined with her talent was a recipe for success. Shortly after, she was given the role of vampiress Mircalla and was the beginning of a notable career in the horror genre, becoming the Queen of Horror. Ingrid's journey into the world of horror began in the late 1960s and early 1970s, an era marked by the resurgence of Gothic horror films. With her striking beauty, commanding screen presence, and a voice that could send shivers down your spine, Ingrid quickly became a sensation in the genre. It all started with her breakout role in The Vampire Lovers in 1970, a film that not only showcased her acting prowess but also solidified her status as a horror icon. As the enigmatic bloodsucker, Ingrid brought a seductive allure to the screen, redefining the image of female vampires in the process. But it wasn't just about the fangs and the supernatural. Ingrid Pitt had a way of infusing her characters with depth and complexity. In Countess Dracula, 1971, she portrayed the notorious Countess Elizabeth Bathory, blending horror with historical drama. The film wasn't just a showcase of her ability to instill fear, it was a masterclass in the art of combining terror with a touch of tragic humanity. Ingrid's reign as the Queen of Horror continued with films like The House That Dripped Blood, still in 1971, and The Wicker Man, 1973, where her performances left an indelible mark on the minds of horror enthusiasts. It wasn't just about the scares, it was about the intensity she brought to every role, making her characters memorable and iconic in the annals of horror history. Off-screen, Ingrid Pitt became a beloved figure at horror conventions and fan events. Her genuine love for the genre and her fans endeared her to a loyal following. It wasn't just about the roles she played, it was about the connection she forged with those who reveled in the thrill of a good horror tale. As the Queen of Horror, Ingrid Pitt's legacy lives on. Her impact on the genre transcends the screen, echoing through the corridors of cinematic history. In the darkened theaters of the past and the living rooms of devoted fans, Ingrid's presence endures, a testament to the enduring allure of horror and the woman who reigned as its beloved queen. She authored several books. Beyond the eerie glow of the silver screen, Ingrid Pitt ventured into the world of words, leaving her mark as not just the Queen of Horror on film, but also as a talented author. The same voice that sent shivers down spines now weaving tales on the pages of books. Ingrid's literary journey took flight with a series of books that reflected her deep passion for storytelling. Among her notable works is Life's a Scream, 1986, a memoir that peeled back the curtain on her life, offering readers a glimpse into the highs, lows, and thrills of her journey in the film industry. It wasn't just a recounting of her experiences, it was a narrative that mirrored the spirited, fearless woman behind the character she portrayed. In addition to her memoir, Ingrid explored the realms of fiction. Cuckoo Run in 1985 and The Bedside Companion for Vampire Lovers, 1973, co-authored with David J. Skal, showcased her versatility as a storyteller. The former, a suspenseful novel, demonstrated her ability to craft narratives that extended beyond the horror genre, while the latter delved into the lore and allure of vampires, a subject close to her heart. Ingrid Pitt wasn't content with merely entertaining, she aimed to share her love for the macabre and mysterious. Her books became a bridge between her and her fans, allowing them to delve deeper into the mind of the woman who had become an icon of horror. As an author, Ingrid's voice resonated with the same charisma that made her a beloved figure on screen. Her words painted vivid landscapes of terror, romance, and suspense, inviting readers to step into the realms she conjured with her pen. At first glance, you'd think she is just another sex symbol whose beauty has kept her in the industry, but when you take a closer look, you'll realize that there is much more to this French beauty. From her early works in French cinema to her dominance in the international space, the actress has shown the world that she is not just a regular actress. Her acting exploits have proven that she is an embodiment of talent, excellence, and every single trait one needs to succeed in the industry. I would never underestimate this actress if I were you. Here is why. A dreamer. Before the spotlight shone brightly on Isabelle, she was just a regular girl from an average home. There was nothing about her early years that suggested she would become a star. However, there was something that made her stand out from the other kids around her. She was a dreamer who believed that anything was possible. Born on June 27, 1955, in a part of Paris called the 17th arrondissement, Isabelle grew up experiencing different cultures because her parents were from two different walks of life. Her parents had quite the story. Mohammed Sharif Ajani, her dad, was an Algerian Muslim, and her mom, Emma Augusta Gusti Schweinberger, was a German Catholic from Bavaria. They crossed paths right after World War II when her dad was in the French army. Love bloomed, they got hitched, and despite her mom not knowing a lick of French, she packed her bags and moved to Paris with him. She even asked him to go by the name Sharif because it sounded more American. Talk about a bold move. Soon after, they started having kids, and for some reason, there was something different about Isabelle, but her parents couldn't quite place their hands on what it was. Isabelle's childhood was a mix of French and German vibes. Gennevilliers, a suburb in the northwest of Paris, was where she called home, and things were going well for her family until life got complicated. It was said that her parents' financial situation got bad in the following years, and her dad had no choice but to take on odd jobs to keep the family afloat. However, despite how bad things were at home, Isabelle didn't stop dreaming of a better life. She also spent most of her time immersing herself in activities she found interesting and the things she was passionate about. Little did she know that one of these would lead her to her dream life. Now, here's where it gets interesting. After winning a school recitation contest, young Isabelle, only 12 at the time, caught the acting bug, a star in the making. She was no slouch in school either. Isabelle not only aced her baccalaureate, but also found herself nursing an acting career before she even turned 14. Doing exploits before the age of 14. Before hitting the age of 14, Isabelle Adjani was already making waves in the world of acting, defying the expectations of a typical teenager. She wasn't your run-of-the-mill adolescent. She was a standout, and against all odds, she dazzled the scene. Her acting prowess didn't match her teenage years. It seemed like she had been honing her craft for decades, displaying a level of experience and expertise that was beyond her age. When she embraced a role, she did so with unparalleled grace and emotion, immersing herself fully in the character she portrayed. It was nothing short of brilliant, and unsurprisingly, directors and producers couldn't get enough of her. At a mere 14 years old, Isabelle made her debut in the cinematic world with Le Petit Bougnac in 1970. In this charming motion picture, Isabelle played the role of a young girl named Marie. Even in her inaugural appearance on the big screen, her talent was evident, leaving a lasting impression on both audiences and industry insiders. But this leaves a question in the minds of some of her fans: how? How did Isabelle land that role at such a young age? Well, produced by the renowned French director and screenwriter Bernard Toublanc-Michel, who was at the time on the lookout for fresh talent. Luckily, Isabelle Adjani's star quality didn't go unnoticed. Isabelle's journey to the role wasn't a typical casting story. Reportedly, her entry into the world of cinema was somewhat serendipitous. While she was still a student, it was said that a casting director spotted her during a school recitation contest where her natural flair for performance caught their attention. Impressed by her raw talent, they recommended her to Toublanc-Michel, who was in the process of casting for Le Petit Bougnac. The director recognized Isabelle's potential immediately and decided to take a chance on the budding actress, offering her the role of Marie in what would become her debut in the world of motion pictures. But little did they know that this collaboration would mark the beginning of a stellar career for Isabelle Adjani, who would go on to become one of the most celebrated actresses in French cinema and beyond. Soon after, she stepped into the realm of classical acting at the esteemed Comédie Française in 1972, gaining recognition for her outstanding portrayal of Agnes, the lead female character in Molière's L'École des Femmes. But the theater couldn't hold her back from the allure of the silver screen, and she decided to chart her course in the world of film. Her journey in film began with a series of minor roles, but it was the 1974 film La Gifle that caught the eye of none other than François Truffaut. Impressed by her talent, he swiftly cast her in a pivotal role in The Story of Adele H., 1975, a project he had penned 5 years earlier. The fact that the project was left dormant for so many years proves that Isabelle was the only actress who had what he needed to bring the role to life. As expected, the role turned out to be simply amazing. Critics hailed her performance, and renowned American critic Pauline Kael didn't hold back, describing Isabelle's acting talents as nothing short of prodigious. And just like that, Isabelle Adjani had firmly established herself as a force to be reckoned with in the world of cinema. But this was only the beginning of her exploits in the world of cinema, becoming the youngest Best Actress. Isabelle Adjani, despite her remarkable talent, initially found contentment in the familiar embrace of French cinema. For her, France was not just a location, it was home, a place she knew intimately. The idea of venturing beyond wasn't really something she desperately wanted at that age, after all. Why look elsewhere when she had everything she needed right there? However, all that changed when she met François Truffaut, a director who saw beyond the confines of Isabelle's comfort zone. He recognized a potential in her that transcended national borders and gently nudged her to consider Hollywood as the stage for her burgeoning talents. It wasn't a path Isabelle had envisioned for herself. Unlike many aspiring actresses who crave fame and awards from the get-go, Isabelle's journey began with a different narrative. Isabelle, in her own words, once described Hollywood as a city of fiction, emphasizing that she wasn't driven by the typical American desire for awards and recognition. Thankfully, Truffaut played the role of mentor and visionary, encouraging Isabelle to broaden her horizons and reach for opportunities beyond France. It was a pivotal moment that prompted her to take the plunge into Hollywood. He once said that France is too small for her. I think Isabelle is made for American cinema. Although she didn't really embrace the thought of being on bigger stages at that age, his words sunk into her mind, and soon enough, she started to believe him. She opened her mind to new possibilities and prepared herself to show the world what she was capable of. As soon as she stepped onto the international stage, audiences wondered where she had been all their lives. She began to take on diverse roles, and before she knew it, she was getting the accolades she deserved. A few years later, the decision to go international bore fruit as Isabelle, at the age of 19, found herself nominated for the Academy Award for Best Actress in a Leading Role. This prestigious recognition made her the youngest Best Actress nominee at the time, a record she held for nearly 3 decades. Hollywood came calling with enticing offers, including a role in Walter Hill's 1978 crime thriller, The Driver. Interestingly, she had previously turned down opportunities for films like The Other Side of Midnight. In a surprising turn of events, Isabelle agreed to take on The Driver because of her admiration for Hill's earlier film, Hard Times. This marked the beginning of Isabelle Adjani's foray into Hollywood, a journey shaped by mentorship, unexpected opportunities, and a willingness to explore beyond the borders of what she knew. Her life had changed forever, and nothing could have prepared her for what happened next. Record-holding Trailblazer. When Isabelle appeared in Le Petit Bougnat, she probably didn't think she would amass the kind of fame she later did. With every single performance, she proved to the world that she was a phenomenal actress, and the multiple awards she won were proof of this. Truth is, every now and then, exceptional actors and actresses are honored with awards for their remarkable work in the industry, but it is very rare to hear of an actor or actress who has won the Oscars 5 times. Well, Isabelle is the only actress who has set this record in the French acting industry. She's not just a César Award winner, she's the César Award sensation, having clinched the Best Actress title 5 times. Yeah, you heard me right, 5 times. First off, winning a César is no walk in the park. It's like the French Oscars, and it is proof that she is indeed extraordinary. If you're wondering what has made her stand out in the industry, it's definitely her exceptional acting skills. Isabelle Adjani has this magical ability to inhabit her characters, to become them in a way that makes you forget you're watching a performance. It's like she has this secret passage to the souls of her characters, and she invites you in for a mesmerizing journey. As a result of this, she has earned 5 César Awards. First, in Possession in 1981, in the haunting world of Possession, Isabelle Adjani graces the screen as Anna, a woman in the throes of a crumbling marriage. The psychological horror drama unfolds as Anna grapples with emotional tumult, spiraling into a surreal realm where reality blurs with the nightmarish. Adjani's performance as Anna is a tour de force. Her expressive face becomes a canvas for the agony, fear, and madness that her character endures. The César Award for Best Actress is a rightful accolade for Adjani's riveting portrayal, showcasing her ability to delve into the depths of psychological unraveling. Next, she won a César Award for her role in Deadly Summer in 1983. Under the sun-drenched allure of One Deadly Summer, Isabelle Adjani takes center stage as Eliane. The suspense drama unfolds as Eliane, a character wrapped in mystery and desire, navigates through a landscape of secrets. Ajani's performance is a revelation, a delicate dance between sensuality and smoldering intensity. Eliane, brought to life by Ajani, becomes a character etched in the viewer's memory, earning her not just the Caesar Award but also acclaim for infusing the role with a captivating depth. Then she continued her winning streak in the biographical drama Camille Claudel. Isabelle Adjani steps into the shoes of the renowned sculptor. The film unveils the life of Claudel, exploring her passion for art and the complexities of her relationships. Adjani's portrayal is a masterclass in transformation. She becomes Claudel, embodying the artist's nuances, passion, and heartbreak. The César Award for Best Actress is a tribute to Adjani's ability to breathe life into historical characters, making them resonate with emotional authenticity. In the 1994 film Queen Margot, another jewel in her crown, sees Adjani don the regal robes of Marguerite de Valois. The historical drama unfolds with her at the helm, navigating political intrigue and personal turmoil with grace and gravitas. The Caesar Award here is not just a recognition of acting, it's a celebration of Adjani's ability to transport audiences to another time and place. Lastly, the modern tale of Skirt Day, where Adjani takes on the role of a teacher navigating a tumultuous day. Here she showcases a different facet of her talent, infusing the character with humor, vulnerability, and resilience. The Caesar Award isn't just a nod to a singular role, it's a tribute to Adjani's chameleon-like ability to inhabit diverse characters, making them indelible. And then a special mention to the Cannes Film Festival in 1981, where Adjani's brilliance earned her a double Best Actress award. It's not just about the accolades, it's about the way she captivates, leaving an indelible mark on the canvas of cinema. Each role, a proof of her artistry, each award, a resounding applause for a talent that knows no bounds. It is safe to say that she is the maestro of emotions and the embodiment of cinematic brilliance. Who would want to underestimate such a person? Her strategic relationships. Isabelle is one of the most strategic and smart actresses there is. One of the reasons she has gone this far is her ability to create and maintain strategic relationships in the industry. What a lot of people don't know is Isabelle Adjani's secret weapon in the film industry is her strategic brilliance when it comes to forming partnerships. She has nurtured relationships with people that contributed to making her the person she is today, and she knows the importance of maintaining relationships that contribute positively to her life and her craft. One of such relationships is her relationship with the legendary composer Ennio Morricone. Her fans have seen her collaborate with him several times, but most of them don't know that this collaboration is strategic. They are a dynamic duo, Isabelle and Ennio, like the Batman and Robin of the film score world. Their collaboration is nothing short of legendary, weaving a sonic tapestry that elevates her performances to a whole new level. Ennio Morricone's music isn't just a backdrop, it's an emotional dance with Isabelle's on-screen presence, enhancing every part of her performances. Now, here's where Isabelle's strategic genius comes into play. Collaborating with Morricone isn't just a stroke of luck, it's a deliberate choice, a masterstroke in crafting a cinematic legacy. Think about it. Pairing up with one of the greatest composers in film history isn't something that happens by accident. It's the result of a strategic mind at work. Isabelle Adjani understands the power of synergy, of creating something larger than the sum of its parts. She understands that it's not just about picking roles, it's about curating an entire experience for the audience. By strategically aligning herself with Morricone, she does more than acting. She's orchestrating a symphony of emotions that resonates long after the credits roll. The longevity of this collaboration is not a one-hit wonder. It's a sustained partnership that has spanned years. Isabelle's ability to cultivate and maintain such strategic relationships in the industry speaks volumes about her foresight and understanding of the collaborative nature of filmmaking. In the world of showbiz, where relationships can be as fickle as the latest fashion trend, Isabelle Adjani stands as a testament to the power of strategic thinking. She's not just another actress, she's a chess player in the grand game of cinema, making moves that echo across the industry and beyond. Isabelle is truly a strategic mastermind who knows that the right partnership can turn a film into a timeless masterpiece. A linguistic virtuoso. It is usually difficult for actresses who aren't from English-speaking countries to adjust and learn how to speak English properly in order to take on diverse roles in Hollywood. However, Isabel didn't only adapt quickly, she is also fluent in several other languages, and this has contributed positively to her craft. Isabel Adjani transcends the conventional boundaries of language in the realm of acting, effortlessly maneuvering through the intricacies of English, French, Italian, and German. It's a testament not just to her adaptability, but to her exceptional finesse in embodying characters across diverse linguistic landscapes. Clearly, the fact that her parents spoke different languages and were from different cultural backgrounds contributed to her ability to learn languages easily and perform in these languages. Isabel's journey into English-speaking roles wasn't merely a matter of adaptation, it was a demonstration of linguistic prowess. She seamlessly moved from the cozy French film scene to conquer Hollywood, showcasing her acting prowess in English. Works like The Driver in 1978, where she starred in Walter Hill's crime thriller, marked her early foray into English-language cinema. However, Isabel's linguistic repertoire doesn't stop at English. She effortlessly glides through French narratives, leaving an indelible mark in French cinema. Her performances in French classics like Possession and Camille Claudel demonstrate her ability to capture the essence of the language and deliver performances that resonate with native fluency. When tragedy strikes. On December 25, 2010, Isabel Adjani faced an irrevocable tragedy that would have brought many to their knees: the loss of her younger brother Eric, a talented photographer. The weight of grief and the profound sense of loss could have easily become an insurmountable obstacle, casting a shadow over any semblance of normalcy. Yet in the face of this heart-wrenching blow, Isabel decided not to succumb to the role of a victim. Instead, she became a beacon of resilience and strength, navigating through the pain while continuing to pursue her passion for acting. The passing of Eric was not just a personal loss, but a profound moment of trauma for the acclaimed actress. However, Isabel, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, found a way to stand on her feet and channel her grief into her craft, the very thing that brought her solace and purpose. In the midst of this emotional turmoil, 2010 saw Isabel Adjani make her mark in the social comedy Mammoth. Directed by Benoit Delapine and Gustave Kervern, she portrayed the phantom of Gerard Depardieu's first love, a role that showcased her ability to infuse depth into characters even amid personal tribulations. Adding another layer to her resilience, in the same year, Isabel lent her voice to the character of Mother Gothel in the animated film Rapunzel. The decision to engage in both live-action and voice-acting projects in the wake of such a profound loss underscores her commitment to her craft and her determination to press forward. The subsequent year, 2011, saw Isabel Adjani co-star in *Divorce*, the directorial debut of Frank Henry. In this film, she embodied the character of Commander Clara D'Amico, head of the Brigade for the Repression of Banditry, showcasing that her artistic spirit and dedication to her profession could not be dimmed by personal tragedy. Fast forward to 2023, and Isabel continues to defy the odds by joining the Netflix miniseries Perfect Couple. This venture into the world of streaming platforms signifies not only her enduring relevance, but also her ability to adapt and thrive in an ever-evolving industry. Isabel Adjani's journey, marked by personal loss and professional triumphs, exemplifies a spirit that refuses to be overshadowed by adversity. In the face of heartbreak, she not only carried on, but continued to flourish, leaving a mark in the movie industry. Her story is not just one of an actress, it shows the strength that can be found in the pursuit of one's passions, even in the darkest of times. A multi-talented star. Although she is widely known as an actress, there is a side to Isabel that a lot of people don't know. When she is not on movie sets, Isabel sings passionately and even shares some of her best works to her fans through albums. Venturing into the realm of music, Isabel's ethereal voice captivates audiences just as effectively as her on-screen performances. Her singing career began to blossom in the 1980s, showcasing her versatility as an artist. In 1983, she released the album Pull Marine, featuring a title track written by the iconic Serge Gainsbourg. The album not only demonstrated Isabel's vocal finesse, but also marked her as a force to be reckoned with in the music industry. What sets Isabel Adjani apart is not just her ability to sing, but the depth and emotion she infuses into her music. Her voice, like a finely tuned instrument, conveys a spectrum of feelings, creating an immersive experience for the listener. Whether she's crooning a soulful ballad or belting out a powerful anthem, Isabel's singing resonates with authenticity and artistry. Her fans are currently raving about her most recent album titled Adjani Bande Originale. She is truly one of a kind.